Uh-oh, red shirt. DoorDash video. DoorDash video. I've got my DoorDash costume on. Oh, I still do that even though you can't really see it now. So, anyway, what's today's topic? Oh, self-driving cars. Okay, yeah. I've definitely done this one before. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with me on Saturday. I know that Saturdays are a busy day for a lot of people. They enjoy going out and doing things. So the fact that you spent even just a little bit of time with me makes me feel very, very grateful. And thank you very much. But let's talk about General Motors teaming up with DoorDash to deliver food with self-driving vehicles. Now, it feels like I make this video a few times a year. A few times a year, I have been making this same video, this same topic. It's the story that just won't die. It almost feels like one of those urban legends that continues, like the urban myth that Walt Disney was chronologically frozen, or, you know, frozen in a state of suspended animation, or however it goes. He was cremated, guys. It's a myth. Or the myth that Marissa Tomei didn't really win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, which that one should be dying at this point, because when La La Land was incorrectly announced as Best Picture when Moonlight won, we saw what the Academy does when the wrong winner is announced. Bottom line, they will walk up on stage and they will take that award out of your hand. They do not care. Well, anyway, I feel like, and of course, I can't say for certainty this will never happen. I always have to say that. But I have always been very, very skeptical about these self-driving cars. I have been super skeptical of the self-driving cars for humans, and I'm actually even more so with the food. Because how are you going to get the food to the people? They have to do some of the work themselves. They won't want to do that. And what's to stop them from taking more than what they ordered? I mean, who's going to put the food where? Like, if you have an employee who doesn't care, like, what if you have robots running McDonald's? Are the robots going to know what food order items to put in the self-driving car? It gets really, really complicated. The more you think about it, the more you realize this doesn't sound as simple as the companies want to make it out. And yet, here we are, we're still talking about it. And look, it's on CNN, reputable news source, apparently. I wish they'd get rid of Don Lemon, but whatever. So, let's look at this. Some year soon. I love that. Okay, at least they're not pretending it's 2 years away. It's some year soon. Great. The late night food delivery from your local restaurant might arrive at your front door without the delivery guy. General Motors subsidy Cruise Automation, which makes technology for self-driving cars, has teamed up with food delivery company DoorDash to test out driverless deliveries. During the test, there will be a safety driver. Yeah. Safety driver. I would really, and you know, here's something about the safety drivers. One of the things that safety drivers are doing, this is why these tests are probably not going to work, is that someone's going to come to the car, because they have to come to the car. The car is not going to come to the door. So they're going to come to the car. And the whole point of the test is to see how the person actually reacts and how they get the food. But once they see the person there, they're going to go to the window and they're going to go like, hey, buddy, what do I do? Like, how do I get my food? Which defeats the purpose of having a self-driving car bring the food. These tests would mean something if there was no safety driver. I know why there's one there, and I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying it's kind of like people going to see more movies because MoviePass is offering essentially free movies. You have that information, but it's tainted because you don't know whether or not people would have seen those movies if they had to pay for it. And with this case, you don't know how they would have reacted if there wasn't someone there to help them. But let's continue. The test program will take place within San Francisco, where Cruise is based. Of course it will. Ford has also been testing so-called driverless deliveries in partnership with Domino's Pizza, which, by the way, I do remember commenting on that. And in all fairness, Domino's delivery robot is very, very adorable. It's still not practical, but it was adorable. An online food delivery company, Postmates, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Miami. But in Ford's case, the cars are driven by humans and only look like driverless vehicles. In Ford's test, the drivers are instructed not to interact with customers. Okay, yeah, but here's the other problem. Okay, you can instruct them not to interact with the customers, but the thing is, people do not pick up on things easily sometimes. I mean, I actually did a story where the kiosk machines at like Subway and McDonald's slowed the lines down because people don't know how to use them, even though we've been using touch screens for years now. They are just going to harass that driver. And how are you going to know that the driver isn't going to help them? Because the driver doesn't want to sit there just being yelled at all night. So he's probably going to roll down the window and say, do this, and he's going to tell them how to get their food. Now, if he does it after 2 years or, a while, and people do this enough times, maybe at one point it's like, I don't need to interact with the driver. I know how to get the food. But they're going to bug the driver. And here's the thing, if the driver doesn't help them, or if he helps them only after bugging, it's going to send a strong message that, I didn't know how this thing worked, and the DoorDash guy didn't help, so I'm not going to do this anymore. This is not good on so many levels. The purpose of those tests is to see how customers respond to deliveries when there is no delivery person involved, except there is a delivery person. So again, tainted research. And by the way, again, I've gone to the McDonald's and the Subway kiosks. People don't know how to work those things. And to be honest, those machines are made very, very simply. Very easy. They're like giant iPads. And people can run their iPads. They can't order, a double cheeseburger with no onions at McDonald's. It's very fascinating sometimes. GM has said that it hopes to someday offer a driverless taxi service, but driverless deliveries are another avenue for it to profit from automated cars. Well, yeah, are you going to own the cars? Are you going to rent a garage to store them at? Like, how many cars do you need to own? No one's even been able to answer, like, one of the common sense questions I have they've not been able to answer is, how many cars are you going to buy? Where are you going to store them? Are they just going to be on the road all day? Like, who's going to get the gas? It's like, I don't know. Quote, delivery is a significant opportunity for Cruise as we prepare to commercialize our autonomous vehicles technology and transform transportation, said Cruise CEO Dan Amon. Partnering with DoorDash will provide us with critical learnings as we further our mission to deliver technology that makes people's lives better and more convenient. Well, it is probably convenient if you can afford this stuff, and I'm not even going to get into that anymore. I mean, we all know the damage that these things are going to do if they actually become widespread. You can't just replace thousands upon thousands of jobs. Okay. Amon has until recently been president of General Motors, but was named CEO of Cruise on November 29th. I will give the dude this much credit. Leaving GM is a kind of a cushy job, and he joined a startup, so he must really believe in this company. Cruise co-founder Kyle Vogt, who had been CEO, has stayed with the company as Chief Technology Officer. Selected DoorDash customers in San Francisco will be able to order meals from local restaurants or fresh grocery items and have them delivered by Cruise automated cars. Now, how are they going to get the food in the car? Now, some of you might think, well, he has a safety driver. Yeah. Is the safety driver going to actually be instructed to go to stay out of the purchase thing? Because again, that's another way this information gets tainted. Like, if his job is to just sit in the car and the store owners have to bring the food out, then, that's another way to test it. But how does the autonomous cars work if the people in the building don't realize it's out there and they need to bring food? It's so many questions. DoorDash and Cruise will use the program to evaluate operational and safety aspects of automated delivery programs, the company said in an announcement. GM has said that it intends to make autonomous ride-sharing a big part of its future business, as evidenced by the fact that they actually have invested in Lyft's autonomous efforts. The automaker plans to mass-produce self-driving cars and operate them in fleets. Sometime this year, I'm assuming that's 2019, because we are technically in the new year, GM plans to begin offering rides in its automated cars to paying customers. But for now, food will be the passenger. It is not clear whether tips will be expected. Well, if it's a computer, I think you can safely say that tips would not be expected. So anyway, there's a Cruise car. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work, because again, the safety driver is... How should I put this? The safety driver is the elephant in the room. He's been instructed not to interact with the customers. But what happens if the customers just want to interact with him and won't leave him alone until he will interact? When it says he won't interact with the customers, does that mean he also doesn't go get the items? Like, how do these companies, if that's the case, how do these companies put things in there? And look at that car. Look at that car. It is just a regular car. It does not appear to be any, barriers to the food or anything. If you've got multiple food items in the car, and someone opens the car door, what's to stop them from taking other people's food, getting a free meal? I mean, this was one of the things that I talked about about the Amazon drones. It's like, once those drones are in the air, all it's going to take is for people to realize, hey, that's an Amazon drone. I can take my BB gun or my pellet gun, and I can just shoot it down. I don't know what it is, but I'll get a free item. Which, hilariously, people always said, but that's illegal. And I was like, oh, all right, sure, I guess that settles that. Don't do it. It's illegal. Don't drink and drive. It's illegal. Don't pirate movies. It's illegal. People don't care sometimes. And so I see a cruise vehicle like this, and it's like, because I'm assuming one of the ways to make it efficient is they want to go from like restaurant to restaurant, getting the food in the car and having, they want to have multiple orders in the car and then have them delivered. But what if the first guy who only ordered, Jack in the Box says, oh, I only want to order Jack in the Box, but that Taco Bell is smelling pretty good, and maybe I'm a little bit hungrier than I thought I would. I'm just going to take that as well. How are they going to do that? How are they going to do that? There's just so many questions. I mean, like I said, every year I do a few of these stories. They brag about how they're testing them. They've been testing these things for years. They continue. I don't think they've got the common sense questions figured out. But, of course, I had the same message pretty much every video. Sometimes I feel like a Star is Born, like I'm remaking the same movie over and over again. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. But anyway, we're going to leave it there because I've pretty much said my piece. What do you folks think about these tests? Are you in San Francisco and have you received one of these? If you have, I'd like to know how that went. Did you attempt to interact with the driver? Did you try it on your own? Were you able to do it? Like, how did that experience go? I'd love to know. So, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but every little bit helps the channel a lot. And by the way, it gives you access to my exclusive vlog, which is launching today. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.